Alright, this video is going to be on tools and other parts that will get the job done properly and safely on mainly small engine equipment. So I'll get started. First, you want safety glasses if you're grinding, like you're sharpening a lawnmower blade, or you're polishing on a polishing wheel, or anything that has flying particles that could get into your eye, even compressed air. Next, you want an impact wrench. These are good especially for lawnmower blades and sometimes motor mounts. These can be really tight, and an impact will just spin it off really fast rather than trying to use a socket. Next, you want a grinder. Actually, first you should probably, in order to use your impact properly, you want the proper don't have to be deep, but I like deep the best. You want your proper drive. This one happens to be 1/2 inch, so 1/2 inch drive. Use those for taking whatever off. Those ones are metric. I have standard. Now you want a grinder. This has a cutting wheel on it, but this is good for sharpening blades or cutting off stubborn motor mounts or any other kind of stuck bolt. This one's air. I like this one because it's variable speed. My electric one isn't. Next, this may not apply much for a small engine, but this is like a 90-degree impact. This is 3/8 drive, but this one, as the handle goes up, this one's just straight. This is good for if you have something that's hard to access with this. Next, you want a good set of vice grips. These are needle nose vice grips. These ones are normal. You want a good set of open-end combination wrenches, consumer size, which is 10 to 18 millimeter, and 3/8 to 3/4. That's good for anything that's open or that's long in a short socket cannot get at. And ratcheting usually is good unless you need to put a lot of torque on something. Ratchet makes it a lot easier. Next, you want a good crescent wrench. This is good for any size if you don't want to fumble around with sizing your open-end wrench. Adjustable. You also want some Loctite. This is red. This is the stronger stuff, I believe. This one says refrigerant sealant, but this is good for if you have a blade or a motor mount that you don't want coming loose. If you throw this on the threads, pour it on the threads and tighten her up real tight, it shouldn't come loose. Next, you want a razor blade knife. This is good for cutting wires or anything that might not, like, you don't want to, something you just want to cut, or this is good for drywall, but that's not small engine. Next, you want good set of screwdrivers. I have the rest in here, but you want good screwdrivers. You want all the variations of sizes. Next, you want tape. You don't have to have tape, but it's good if you never know what you can run into. So you may need tape, masking tape. Next, you want a consumer. Well, you don't need a consumer, but I have a consumer for stub sockets. Consumer sizes are good. They're all you'll ever need, usually in small engine. And yeah, you want a driver, converter, 1/2 inch to 3/8 to 1/4 inch drive, all that good stuff. This is an air power hammer. Go down like this, and it'll like a mini jackhammer. This end here is good for sticking into the Briggs flywheels. Stick it in like this, and then you give it while you have a pry bar underneath the flywheel, you give it a jab and it'll pop the flywheel off instantly. Next, you want some good needle nose pliers for accessing stuff that a normal plier won't be able to get at. Also, it's good to have side cutters for cutting wires and twine or whatever you may find on your lawnmower. A hammer's good. for banging stuff, or if you need to get a Briggs & Stratton ratchet off. One way to do it, if you don't have a special tool, you put this on the hub of the 2 bolt screws into the flywheel ratcheter, and you bang on this and it'll push around all the way around. Next, you want a good set, well, not a good penetrant. This is carburetor cleaner. That's good for cleaning carbs and getting off the grime outside the carb. And the best of the best, PB Blaster. This can pretty much remove anything. Usually motor mounts or lawnmower blades that are screwed in and really tight. Another trick is if the lawnmower is 7/16, or also called metric, you want, like for example, most lawnmower blades are 9/16. If you use a 14mm, that's a tiny bit smaller than 9/16, and you may be able to get just what you need on there if your 9/16 original bolt is a tiny bit stripped. Another thing is you have to have the right tools, especially if you want to take off a lawnmower blade that's been sharpened. I don't know why you might want to take that off, but if you're trying to use an open end wrench on the hub of the blade, and you're twisting, and all of a sudden something happens and your wrench slips off, then your handle may gash right into the blade and cut yourself pretty bad. Might need stitches. Another reason why you might want to use an impact wrench is with sockets. You're not very fast at getting the bolt off, and someone may need to hold the blade with their hand, and that's another way you could cut them, and an impact will just spin it off really fast and almost get it off every time. So make sure your thread's not reversed, or else it'll probably break the bolt, or tighten it so tight that you may not be able to get it off again. And of course, these are all run off compressed air, so the best thing to use is an oil bath air compressor. The non-oil ones are very cheap and can break and seize up on you over time. And if you're a repairman, you want a good variation in oil. This is Quaker State 520, just for replacing oil that you may have changed for a customer. And if you're into the riding mowers, you may want some spare batteries to boost off of the old lawnmower battery to determine if the battery's dead or shot. So you may need Allen keys too, but usually on small engines there's nothing that are Allen keyed. So that's basically my video. If you do not know what you're doing on the thing, on like a lawnmower or a snowblower, rototiller, whatever, you may want to get a small engine repair book. These are very handy. They tell you a lot of stuff. How to rebuild your motor, valve, tapping, and laps. And yeah, this is good if you're not very experienced, or if you're trying to do a home repair. These are good for helping on what you need. So yeah, this is my tools that I use on lawnmowers, and hope you enjoyed it. Hope I explained everything. And yeah.